It's still the middle of January. I believe it's the 17th. I don't know. It's a Tuesday. And here I have my tea and my water. And I'm outside. French vanilla. Usually I drink coffee, but hey. Still trying to improve my videography skills. So today I have my little mini tripod attached to the bottom of this sucker. And we're going to see if we can just watch me work for a little bit. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. And so far, this is what I've been working on. I'm trying to clear this brush. And it's going to take a few years, I think, honestly. Because I'd like to plant an additional two dwarf trees here and here. Possibly a third one over there in the coming years. And those may end up being dwarf vegetable or dwarf fruit. By vegetable I mean the Siberian pea tree or the Carolina snowbell tree. Those do peas, obviously by the name, and is a bit aggressive. And the Carolina snowbell does funny shaped cucumber tasting things. But right in here, mainly what I have is brambles and weeds. The reduction of brambles and weeds is right here. So I'm going to see if I can get a lot of this in frame. Now you can see that there's all of these very structured beds. Those are not mine. My property line goes right here. And that's me. We're about to turn the camera around and you'll see actually me. It is ridiculously warm. I have already shed my coat. It's the middle of January. What is going on? And you know what? Let's check what day it actually is, because I'm confused. 17th, I was right. Okay. So in one of these beds, we're going to see if we can get this in frame. The feet are like in the mud. I think that'll do the trick. So I've got these two rocks here. And I've been able to pull a lot of these just out by the root. They just come right out. Now, this is a lilac. And it's gotten so unhealthy that it had termites last year. So I began the process of removal at that time. It's so warm I may end up getting rid of the sweater too. And, oh, there we go. See, there's a root that just came right out of the ground without even trying. So I've got all these cleavers, which last video I mentioned them. I called them chiggers. And I still think that there was someone in my life that called them that. I'm very southwestern Pennsylvania as far as my plant names. And we're a very small dialect. So the names for plants that have been handed down to me through the generations don't necessarily match what anyone else is going to call these suckers. But cleavers you can look up because I was reading a book out of the UK, and that is what the one permaculture author called them, and I have heard them called that by other people. So if you need to see better what cleavers are, that's very Googleable. Google has become a verb. So this ends up being quite a lot of squatting down, and I'm on top of rocks. And then I have to do the magic of fishing out. Oh, hi, bumblebee. I'm not food. It's warm today. Fishing out the plants that I want, which is a historic type of yellow sedum. And that's the part that always used to just flummox my little brother. I thought it was pretty cute because he's very intelligent, but he just could not figure out how I knew the difference one plant from the other. He could take apart technology, take the sound card out of a McDonald's toy, put it back together and have it still work. He was very intelligent, but this process of separating one plant from the other blew his mind, and I thought it was really funny. He said he could never tell, and he still can't to this day. He's in his 20s. How on earth I knew which plant was which, so don't feel bad. It takes a while. Some people just, have specialties in other areas, but if it's what you really want to pay attention to and figure out, you can figure it out. So I'm taking the bare spots that I'm creating, setting down the yellow sedum, and then sprinkling just a light layer of dirt over it so that the roots are ensured soil contact. Even though it's the middle of winter, yellow sedum is just unfathomably hardy to this sort of like pick up, set down. In the dead of summer, like during a drought, I've come back and fixed it being exposed like about a week later, and it still takes. Even though it's been exposed to drought with no water, it's basically uptaking on its succulents. And over winter, it'll do just fine. All of this disturbance that I'm giving it won't kill it. Good plant. Very good plant. So I'm picking dirt up from elsewhere and patting it down over that puppy. Now, I'll have to look up what the non-Western PA name for these are, but other than the cleavers, what the other thing I'm pulling out is gillweed. Gillyweed does this runner's thing. That's mostly cleavers. See if I can get a good example. I think they're all over here. Oh, that's lost its balance. They're all over here. Oop. This is a gillweed leaf, and its growth habit is I've got my hand looped under one of its runners. It is almost like strawberries, where it puts out a branch and then it roots and then it roots. And it has almost like a Vicks smell to it. Like, it'll clear your sinuses a little bit. It's like a really light Vicks smell if you crush the leaf and put it up to your face. It does have medicinal properties, of which I'd have to look them up. Now here's fishing out. There we go. And replacing the plants I do want, the yellow sedum. So this whole swath is also cleavers and gillweed. And there's some remaining gillweed here. Some cleavers and some buckwheat over there. So that's going to be a lot of my project today, and I'm curious as to whether or not I stayed in frame, because it does look like this toppled while I was working. So we'll check it later.